Good morning, brothers and sisters. We meet various people in our lives. Doing my ministry for children, I've heard from parents having twins how surprised they are by the differences even among their twin brothers, twin children. It is really true that there are so many different types of the people. There are also various types of the character in the Bible, just as there are in the real world. We can find an example of such differences in the twin brothers Esau and Jacob. The Bible briefly presents their differences, especially in Genesis chapter 25, showing that Esau loved to be out in the field, but Jacob was a quiet man, staying among the tents. Let's think about the Jacob further as the background for today's Bible story. We might agree at least that he is very possessive and goal-oriented person when we look at the stories associated with the birth of the Jacob and Esau and their early lives. Jacob appeared in the Bible grasping the heel of his older brother Esau when he was born as a twin boy. He might have a very struggle to be born first. His struggle seemed to continue, and he finally obtained the right of the firstborn son. Using Esau's weakness with hunger, Jacob got his brother's birthright. When Jacob knew that his father, Isaac, prepared to give a blessing to his brother, Esau, Jacob tricked his father to gain the blessings by lying about his identity and pretending to be Esau. Like the last time, he uses his father's physical weakness of having bad eyesight to obtain what he really wanted to have with his mother's help. Jacob ended up fleeing home and avoid the anger of his brother Esau and became homeless. The chapter 28 describes his situation in this way. He took a stone as a pillow to go to sleep. Being a fugitive, Jacob was deeply vulnerable and lonely. However, the very moment that he was most vulnerable and lonely, he encountered God. To be more precise, God came to Jacob and blessed him and promising, I am with you and I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. God promised here unconditional grace to Jacob. On the contrary, our Jacob made a conditional promise to God, saying, if God will be with me and will watch over me so that I return safely to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God. Here is the real Jacob speaking. The story about the goal-oriented Jacob does not end yet. Let's recall the story about having the woman that he wanted as his wife while working for his uncle Laban. He was working for 14 years trying to get Rachel as his wife. Looking at what Jacob had done until now, we might say that his life was a life of attempting to increase possession, to possess his brother's rights as the firstborn son, to possess blessing his father, to possess his wife. Indeed, his life was a life seeking possessions. A desire for possessions is known as one of the basic desires of the human beings. Honestly, it is not exclusive to Jacob's case. None of us are free from this kind of the desire. We desire something small or big. No matter how much we have materially, we all might have the sense that we are lacking something. We sometimes want to something because that is very necessary to us, but sometimes we just want more because we think we just want more. This might be why when a new model of a smartphone or iPhone is released almost everywhere, even though almost all have a phone, that the new phone is desired by many. It is not only about the phone. New clothes, shoes, Accessories, sports items are poured out every day. Our desire possession is not limited only to material things. We wish to obtain more love and respect in our relationship. We want to have more positive reputations and evaluation in our social life as well. We can't think about our lives without the desire for possessions, just as Jacob's life did. Jacob seemed successful in his life, in the sense that he possessed whatever he wanted. He owned the rights of the firstborn son and the blessings from his father. He finally had a woman that he wanted as his wife. He possessed much property too. A successful man, Jacob, is now about to return home with his whole family. However, his return does not seem easy. He is fearful to return home because he didn't know whether his brothers had an intention to kill him. We can find this kind of emotion in the first half of the chapter 32. So he sent his messengers ahead to discern whether Esau was still angry with him. However, the only thing that he heard from them was that Esau came to meet Jacob, but was accompanied by 400 men, as verses 6 describes. Jacob might have been distressed and uncertain about the meaning of this report from his messenger. This kind of uncertainty might have made him more anxious and fearful. So, our Jacob, an expert of planning, prepares for worst scenario. His disposition is exposed at this moment of returning. First, Jacob divided his company into two parts so that at least one group might be saved in case of being attacked by Esau. And then Jacob sent his servant ahead a gift as an effort to cover his guilt for his past behavior. Jacob carefully instructed his servant to emphasize that the animals are the gift for Esau, saying, "My robe, Esau," from his servant Jacob. Can you see how he did his best to soften his brother's anger here? All plans to moderate Jacob's anger are finally settled. But Jacob's anxiety and fear have not been alleviated at all. As a result, Jacob finally made a decision to try to deal with his discomfort. Let's look at verses 23 and 24. Jacob sent his family and everything he had across the river, but Jacob stayed behind alone. When he realized that the plan that he made could not free him from all kinds of emotion of anxiety and fear, he stayed alone in Jabbok River. I think that this moment is the very first moment that he is separated from what he have lived to possess. Being left alone, he might see himself reflected on the surface of the river and realize himself as being broken, distorted, and corrupted. He might experience the void in his life as well. When Jacob is separated from his possession, he finally realized that who he is, his identity is not determined only by what he is, what he has. Too many people in this society live with the illusion that what they have is identified with the value of whom they are. We often think that we are valuable enough because we have a diploma from a good school. We are capable enough because we have more than others. However, brothers and sisters, look at the Jacob. He had lived a life seeking possessions, and he finally had them, but he is now experiencing emptiness in his life. A desire to have the right of the being firstborn might make him lose the joy that he could enjoy with his brother as a family. A desire to possess whatever he wants might make him lose momentary gratitude for what he already has. At the very moment that he is separated from what he possessed, he realized what his life looked like. At that moment, Jacob might recall God whom he encountered in wilderness when he fled from home and became the homeless. God who embraced him with unconditional grace. When he stayed alone and he recalls the grace of God, he might be tormented by his desire for the life of possessions and struggle with the complicated emotions such as regret, guilt, and shamefulness. He is struggling with the brokenness and deficiencies in his life, resulting from leaving his parents in his youth, struggling with his broken relationship with God and his father and brother. And he finally opened his mouth and says, bless me, Lord. The blessing that Jacob asked God for at this moment might not be blessing for possession. The blessing that he asked for might be the blessing for forgiveness of his life that has been distorted, simple, and deceitful. A blessing for God's grace and love. At the night of wrestling is passing, Jacob experienced the grace of God that is comforting him not to be shameful any longer regarding your previous life. The hands of God touched the spiritual wounds of his youth, living with his uncle, without parents caring for and loving him. At that point, God gives him a new name, Israel. God no longer called him Jacob, the name that means to hold on to his brother's heel, recalling his previous life. Verse 28 explains that the name Israel that God gives him means to wrestle with God and win. However, it does not mean literally. How can a human being possibly wrestle with God and win? To win is translated from Hebrew, Yaakov, which usually means to endure. The name God gives him might mean enduring struggle to reconcile with God. However, there is a very, very important point here that we should remember. Jacob's struggle is initiated by God. Let's look at verses 24. Jacob was left alone, and a man, which means God, wrestled with God. God is entering deeply first into struggle with Jacob, revealing God's faithfulness to the promises made. Through this grace of God, Jacob becomes Israel. Through this God's grace, he no longer lives a life seeking possession, but he has a new life filled with God's grace. When sons of Jacob, now known as Israel, is limping because of his hip, in his lifetime, he would live with this limping as a symbol of God's grace and his new identity. Today's Bible story about Jacob wrestling with God is the story about God's forgiveness, grace, and love. What Jacob really needed to return home and reconcile with God, with Esau, is the first, his reconciliation with God and himself. His return is also not simply a return home. It is return to his unsolved problem. To encounter unsolved problem in our lives, we must first encounter our God, breaking into our lives and challenging us and convincing us and providing a new life, new direction for our thought and actions. Brothers and sisters, let's take a moment, think about our lives and ourselves. Do we never think we have enough? Do we think that what we have reflects who we are, as so that we put all of our time, energy, and effort to possess more? Do we still experience emptiness in our lives, even when we have whatever we want? What we have never gives us true joy and peace. The material things are just like a bubble. It is fun to blow the bubbles and try to catch them. However, the happiness of blowing the bubble does not last. The minute we reach out and touch the bubble, they burst. They are a necessary thing that we must have to live, but they are not all that we need. We need more than those bubbles. The true joy never comes from what we possess. What we really need to be a full human being, to nourish ourselves, and to live a meaningful life is God's grace. Only the God's grace gives us true joy and peace because we are created in the image of God. Brothers and sisters, what are the things that you are eager to chase and grasp? Open your hands. When you open your hands, you can find yourself and your life filled by God's grace. The emptiness in our lives cannot be filled by our own effort. It is only filled by God's grace. Yesterday was the New Year. We have here a second chance to make our New Year resolutions. I pray that in the New Year, we all desire nothing other than God. Let's pause amidst the business of our lives and desire God's grace that is already and always breaking into our lives. In this relentlessness, God's grace, love, and forgiveness, let's enjoy our lives. Let's enjoy who we are as children of God, as the image of God. Let us pray.